Hey, and we're the Coalition. We're at a familiar spot to Coalition Radio viewers. We're here in Burnside Park. Folks may or may not remember that this was the actual site of Occupy Providence just a few short years ago, yet at the same time, Rhode Island government is still struggling to deal with issues that they promised to fix in the wake of Occupy Providence. I'm here with Ashley Kalus. She is, of course, your Republican nominee for the governorship of the great state of Rhode Island. Here we are again. I'm just going to ask one straightforward question. The city of Providence, as part of the Superman building project, is promising a $5 million cash contribution. Now, some would say this is fascinating, as the city of Providence just had to have an election on a bond offering in order to potentially sell bonds to fund their grotesquely underfunded, maybe worse than the nation, pension system. At the same time this week, they're considering a multi-year, significantly larger than normal tax stabilization agreement. And this is for a developer who, by the way, made his fortune building market baskets. And we all know market baskets are doing pretty well. God bless them, great company. But is it ever appropriate for a city like Providence, which is a wonderful place? My business is here. I love this city. But at the same time, as financially troubled as Providence is, to kick in $5 million and or significant tax breaks to bail out a private developer who, quite frankly, made a really bad bet a long time ago before the latest real estate crisis. How does that work or not work at any level, and why would a governor endorse that?
I would not endorse that. I've been very clear in being against corporate welfare, which is basically what the Superman building is. And as we stand here discussing a crisis on homelessness, you have a governor, Dan McKee, who would rather give tax breaks to insiders. You know, as a governor, what projects you support are your priorities. And what we see with him is somebody who would rather give money for luxury apartments than deal with the homelessness crisis.
Right. You're surrounded here by, I'll call it the real activist, the core activist base for affordable housing, the real activist base for criminal justice reform in this state. These are the real people, not the swells. No, I'll just leave it at that. What are you learning from spending as much time as you are in communities like this?
Thank God these activists exist. Right? They are the voice of the community who speak for people who do not necessarily have a voice. So I'm grateful for their action. I'm grateful for the fact that they've stuck with it when career politicians have failed this state for a decade. Without these individuals, you would not have the movement towards making change. So I am happy to be here, but very grateful for their voice, very grateful for their effort, and very grateful for their sustained insistence that this is unacceptable. The homelessness crisis here is an unacceptable thing, and it is a choice. It has been a political choice. And right now we have money to deal with this problem. And the question is, are we going to choose a leader, a career politician like Dan McKee, who has failed this state for decades? Or are we going to try somebody who's different, a problem solver like myself, somebody that has started in medicine and got involved in the COVID response in service? My entire life, I produced results, and I don't make excuses. Dan McKee is all excuses, no results. So I am grateful for the activists, and I would say to everybody that we need change, we need different leadership, and we need somebody who holds themselves accountable and also holds others who are in power accountable too. And you will get that with me as governor. I am done with excuses in terms of this homelessness crisis. We need units and we need action.
There's going to be a hearing this week in the Providence City Council on this tax stabilization agreement, and a variety of the wise men who rule Rhode Island, and I use that term intentionally, will tell you that if this tax stabilization agreement doesn't pass with the Providence City Council, the Superman project is in peril. Any chance, if the schedule works, we can see you at that hearing?
Perhaps. I am always happy to make sure that there is a voice that talks about really the truth and how we spend our money. So if that plan fails, then do we have more money for, public funds should go into public projects, not private interests. So if that fails, is it the worst thing? I don't know if it really is. And the question is, how are we going to spend the money that we have from the federal government and for economic development? Economic development programs should be building things for the public interest. They should be for public projects. That is it. We know that corporate welfare doesn't work. We learned that a decade ago. So we need to stop using these old models of corporate welfare, promising that it'll develop, promise that it will result in economic growth when it doesn't. Empirically, it fails. We can look at the facts and we know that this project is not going to produce anything except making a private developer rich. We deserve better than that.
Ashley Kalus, she is your candidate for the governorship of the great state of Rhode Island. As always, it's great to see you on the trail. It's great to see you at engagements like this where, again, this is, as the chant goes, this is what community looks like. Thank you so much.
Thank you.